you from your VA mentor. How are you today? I am coming to you live from my page and sharing this video into my VA group, my free VA Facebook group. So hopefully it's all coming through the way it's supposed to be, but I know that I haven't done any live videos on this particular page before. I've always done them through my group. So welcome to those of you who are, I guess, seeing me on this page for the first time in video. I have more than 60 videos on in the training videos inside my free VA group. So I'll tell you about that at the end of this little video, but they are basically just like this one. And so it's me coming to you with a topic of the day that is relevant to virtual assistants and you know, whatever seems to be coming up in the conversations that I'm having with virtual assistants. I do a lot of networking. I do a lot of connecting. I have a very big audience of virtual assistants just like you at all areas of their business. And so I do training videos to help you guys work through some of the questions and the problems and that kind of thing that might come up as you are building your business. So today I'm talking to you about communicating with clients. One of the things that comes up fairly often for me, and it's one of those things that I don't even realize is an issue until somebody talks to me about it or mentions it, or talks about a conversation that they've had with a client, or a situation, I should say, with a client more so than a conversation. And so it's about talking to your clients, and it just never seems to me like it's an issue until somebody mentions it. And then I remember what a struggle I had with it whenever I was early in my VA business. I've been doing this for over 22 years, and it really was an issue for me. I was one of those VAs, and if this is you, don't worry, I'm not slamming you or anything like that. This was me, okay? So it's why I can describe it for you in probably something that, hits you right in the heart and says, oh my God, she's talking about me. So I was one of those VAs who stayed behind my computer. I was always behind this screen. I never would have done video. I never had conversations, like real conversations with people. I didn't go to networking events. I didn't want to talk to my clients on the phone. I wanted to make sure that they communicated with me solely by email. And I was very, very convinced that they needed to respect that boundary of mine, because that I was virtual. And virtual means that you don't get to talk to me, you don't get to phone me, you don't get to do all these kinds of things. And I know there's a lot of VAs out there who have that same attitude. And I'm telling you right now that it's actually not the best way to run your VA business. And you can totally disagree, that's totally fine. But whenever I teach something, it's usually because I've got personal experience with that particular topic, or I've coached VAs and worked with VAs through their particular struggles. In this particular time, this one was mine. This was all over. This was all me. And so I just got to the point where you can't sustain a business like that, especially, and here's the big key about why you need to communicate with your clients. I'll give you a couple of tips in a few minutes, but why you need to be really, really good at communicating with your clients, and why you need to be, inject your personality into your business, basically, is that you're a support professional. You're providing support to people, and we might be the assistant, you might, be called the assistant, you might think of yourself as the assistant or whatever, but we are business people in our own right. And you're running your business, your client's running their business. There's no hierarchy. You guys are each doing what you're best at. Your client as which one was the client? I think this one was the client. The client doing, the speaking or coaching or accounting or lawyering or marketing or whatever it is that they do best with their clients. And you are doing what you do best with your client, which is to support them. And when you are retained by a client in a support role, that's what you need to do. And one of the most important things that we need to do is to be able to communicate well with them so that everybody gets to grow together, right? It's really, really good for your business to be able to have actual conversations with your clients. I used to do what I called production calls on Mondays with my clients, mostly on Mondays. And, that allowed us to connect one-to-one and have a brief conversation about what it is that we were working on for the week, or what had happened in the last week or anything like that. And I found that as soon as I started having actual, I didn't always used to do that. I used to do, very much, here's the email and you send me that and I'll email you this and project management system and blah, blah, blah. But as soon as I started having actual conversations with people, like we said words to each other, we didn't have Zoom. Like I say, I've been doing this a long time, so we didn't have Zoom calls. And I think that a lot of people are a lot more comfortable now with video calls like this. There was a time when I would have been absolutely mortified. There's no way I would have wanted to, jump on a video call with somebody. But now it's very, very normal, particularly this year. But at the time, we just used phone calls. We just talked to each other on the phone. And that was very effective too, because you end up being able to say a lot more in a phone call than you can in 20 emails, right? And so, but what happened with me whenever I first started, or when I ended up having conversations with people, like real conversations with people, was that I became a better business person. I spoke more highly of myself because when you hear something, like when you think something of yourself, good or bad, you're thinking it in your head. But when you say the words out loud all the time, that's what makes you believe things, right? It tells your brain you're hearing things over and over. There's the whole, brain dynamic thing of having to hear something multiple times in order for you to believe it. And I know there's a lot of psychology around that and that kind of thing. I'm not going to get into that because I'm not a psychologist, frankly. But yeah, when you hear something, you start to believe it yourself. And so when you have a conversation with a client, you can hear the words that are coming out of your mouth. And sometimes in the beginning, they're not that great, right? You kind of stumble over things or whatever. But practice makes perfect. And the more you talk to other business people about your business and about their business, the better you get at it. And you get comfortable, you get confident. Confidence really comes through especially in a voice, not so much in an email. Sometimes it does, but very much so whenever you're talking to people. And you get confident, but you sound confident, but you also get confident, right? It pushes you and you realize what you're really, really good at. And it helps you to understand what your clients like and what your clients may be struggling with, or where there's maybe a communication issue where if they don't understand something, you can explain it, and then they are relieved because they understand. Conversation is so important, and communication is important, but conversation itself is a really essential thing to get. And business conversations is what you need to be having in your business. If in your VA business, if you want to up level yourself and be noticed ahead of other virtual assistants, this is one really, really good way to do it. So I have all these notes. I don't know if I've touched on any of them yet, so hang on 2 seconds. I'm just going to check on this and make sure. Yes. Okay. And the other thing that conversations help you do, and actually speaking to people, and this is the hard stuff. This what I'm about to talk about is one of the reasons. This is one of the times that I find virtual assistants will hide behind their computer, like I did. Again, I'm not criticizing you particularly. I'm talking about, I understand because I did this myself, and I had to learn how to not do it anymore. I had to learn how to actually have conversations, business conversations, hard conversations sometimes with people, talking about things like boundaries, right? Talking about things like money, talking about things like scheduling, like who's in charge of your schedule. You are, not your client, but you. And so all of these different things that as you start to get comfortable with a conversation, you can talk to people about these things, and you're not going to hide behind an email that says, I really need you to send my work earlier, or I really need you to pay me, or I really need you to stop, putting more tasks on, or I really need you to get better organized so that you can, we can get things out more quickly or more efficiently, or whatever it is. Whatever the issues are that you're going to have as a business person, you have to be able to articulate them. And the best way to do that is to be able to talk about them. Anything you do, practice makes perfect, right? It's a skill, talking business with people and talking about the difficult things, like I say, like the boundaries or anything like that. It's hard. It can be hard. And especially if you're not if that's not your normal way, if you're an introvert, if you're shy, if you don't like conflict and that kind of thing. As a business owner, you still have to deal with all of those things. And so it's really, really important in my opinion anyway, for you to get good at that. And so if you are one of those VAs who is constantly, staying behind your email and that kind of thing, you can survive. Your business will survive. I'm not telling you that you can't, but sometimes you will be more frustrated by the things that clients say and do when you don't develop that communication skill with them. And so I would challenge you to actually start booking calls with your clients. Like I said, I used to do them every Monday with my clients. If it was a smaller client, we did it every couple of weeks or sometimes even once a month. But anything that you can do to have a conversation with somebody, to have a conversation with a client that you're working with, is always a really good thing. You can talk to them, you can ask them questions. And you don't want to spend hours on the phone, of course, but you want to be really directed in terms of what you want to ask them, and have a grown-up to grown-up conversation about the things that might be challenging, or you don't even have to. Sometimes the challenging conversations don't even come up, or the challenging topics. Sometimes it's just about being more efficient and getting more organized, or getting to know your client better. I'm going to tell you one other thing that happened with me is I got more work from all of my clients when I started talking to them. Why? Because we were on the phone. You build that trust relationship because you're not faceless anymore, right? You're very faceful. Is that the opposite of faceless? I don't know. And so, but you're there with them, and you show them that you care, and you show them that what your expertise is, and how talented you are, and how professional you are. I think it's really, really important. So if you have not joined my free Facebook group yet, I will put the link underneath this, and you can go and join us there. It's virtual assistant training. Get your VA business started. And I have a virtual assistant checklist. It's Start Your VA Checklist. I'll also drop the link in for that below. And if you haven't picked that up, you can also pick that up. It will help you get the steps in place that you have to do to get your business started. And if your business is already started, you can still pick up the checklist and make sure you have all those foundations in place, because it's kind of important to make sure that you have all the things in place that you need, right? So that's all I got for you today. I will come back to you next week again. I hope you have a wonderful week, and reach out if you have any questions at all about being a virtual assistant, working with a virtual assistant, or anything virtual assistant related. And I'm your girl. Take care. Have a good day.